We have a video by Grant Cardone. Okay. Grant is multimillionaire. Um, got his made the majority of his fortune from real estate syndication, right? I don't have a problem with Grant Cardone. What I have a problem with is this message that recently came out where he's saying if you make less than $400,000, you are a loser. I could not come home to my wife if I was making $400,000 a year. What, Grant? Come on, Grant. We got to do. Is this what we're telling the young men, Grant? Is this what we're telling the young men? If you make less than $400,000 a year, you, sir, are a loser. So that cancels out the majority of men today. I'm talking the firefighters, the police officers, the teachers. Even if you're in the tech industry, a lot of those guys don't make 400 grand a year. But the problem is that when a lot of men hear this type of information, if they are not strong and confident in who they are and who God made them to be, right? They will start to adopt this mindset of, oh, I've got to make 400 grand a year. That is literally the litmus test of manhood, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making 400 grand a year. If you make $400,000 a year in your passion and you get paid to do what you do well, make 400 grand a year. If you make $1 million a year, make $1 million a year doing. I mean, in the Bible, it literally says that we are supposed to find pleasure in what it is that we do for work, right? So if you're compensated well for that, by all means, go for it. But on the flip side, if you are in your passion and you're compensated less than that for doing what it is that you love doing, there's no shame in that either. If it's providing a life that you are content with for you and your family, by all means, go for it. This is the type of messaging that I think gets a little bit toxic or scary for men, because if you are not in a healthy place, you can misinterpret this and go down the wrong path, right? Solely focused on the money, losing sight of all the other things that are important. It is a dance that we're supposed to be doing, right? It's not all I need to focus on is my life, or I'm sorry, my occupation, how much money I'm making. Forget about having a social life. Forget about having a wife. Forget about my children. Forget about making sure that I'm tending to the things that are important, right? We can't get into these areas where money is the only thing that's important. That is very dangerous, because trust me, I know a lot of people with a lot of money. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're happy, right? Now, you have to have money to be able to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, to provide a good lifestyle. Like, if that's what you want, that's fine, whatever. But that is not the end all be all to happiness. I believe that God wants us to have success, fulfillment, fruitfulness in all aspects of our life. It does not just stop with occupation and money, okay? But let's listen to what Mr. Grant has to say about making less than $400,000 a year.
If I made 400 grand a year, I would be embarrassed with myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being.
So basically, your identity, your whole identity is attached to how much money you make. That's what he's basically telling us right here. So Grant, if you went down to 10 grand a month, You'd be embarrassed to come home to your wife? Come on, bro. We got to do better than this. Let's proceed.
400 grand. How do you make sense of $35,000 a month?
Easy. I could easily make sense of it. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Like, the cost of living is not ridiculous. Okay. I'm not living in San Francisco. I'm not living in Palo Alto. I'm not living in New York City. Like, I could easily make sense of $35,000 a month. I promise you we'd be okay. My wife would be okay. Okay. We'd be all right. We've lived on a lot less than that.
You guys haven't done the math. You have not done the math because you cannot live on 400 grand a year.
Have you? I'm mad that it stopped right there because I feel like you got to explain yourself. You can't live on less than 4. We haven't done. What math are you doing, Grant? And again, I don't have a problem with Grant Cardone. I actually like a lot of the things that he talks about in regards to business, the 10X. I like that. But this right here, I'm confused. Maybe I'm missing some context. Maybe there was more to it. I don't know. But this segment, it just sounds so bad. So bad. And I hope to God that our young men are not listening to this and aspiring to be just someone who just provides funds, like funds are the only thing to focus on. Like, how much money I make is who I am. I'm a millionaire. This is the danger and the toxicity that's involved with a messaging, or some, like, for instance, Andrew Tate, some of his messaging was a little bit off, or a lot of bit off, actually. The first thing you got to go to is how many Bugattis you have, how much money you make, how you're a self-made man, all of these things. Like, your identity is caught up in the wrong things. Do I think that all of those things are great? Yeah, I like nice cars. I like making money. But that's not who I am. Because here's the thing. If I lost it tomorrow, I have to be able to keep putting one foot in front of the other and take care of my family. Okay? That's what this all comes down to. Be careful what and who your identity is tied up in, because it could definitely cause you to be led astray. Now, on the flip side of this, let's take it from Grant's perspective, because I like to put myself in other people's shoes to try and understand where it is that they're coming from. And when I do that, I can somewhat see what he's saying. If this is truly what he was trying to say, but it just didn't come across that way, right? So I imagine that Grant is in a place, I don't know Grant Cardone, but I imagine that he's in a place where he has made millions of dollars, right? For someone who is making millions of dollars, let's say their net worth is 20, 25, 30 million dollars, right? Or more, 100 million, whatever it is. For them to go back to making $400,000 a year is like people like us who make six figures, right? Going back to making 30, 40 grand, 50 grand a year, right? It's a difficult thing to wrap your mind around. Like, you wouldn't even apply for jobs at that level, right? Like, now you've reached a certain standard, so it's hard for you to see how you could possibly go back. So from that perspective, I see what Grant is saying in regards to him not being able to sustain his current lifestyle, let's say, at $32,000 a month. So I get that, right? I also understand if he is trying to say that if you have it in you to make that kind of money, to make 400 grand being exceptionally good at what it is that you're doing, and you're not going after it, you're a loser. I wouldn't use that term, but I would definitely say you're selling yourself short, right? If you have that capability in you and you're not all in, or you're not building or trying to get to that level where you would see that kind of money, you're selling yourself short. Because there's all kinds of things you could do with millions of dollars, right? That could change the world. And you not going all in I'm going to agree with him from that standpoint. If you are not going all in and you have it in you, that is a losing mentality. You're not operating like a winner. That's like LeBron James going out there, or Michael Jordan going out there and being okay with 6 points a game. Like, you gotta give us more when you got that much talent. You understand what I'm saying? So from that perspective, I totally understand if that is truly what he was trying to say and it got misconstrued. Because, I mean, look, people go online and say things, and when they're teaching classes, they'll say things and they'll slip up, and what they said is not necessarily what they meant. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for the man. I'm just saying it just sounds crazy to me, right? But the final verdict on all of this is, the final verdict when it comes down to it, is that if you are content, if you are happy, your occupation is providing a lifestyle for you and your family. You guys are happy. You're in a place where you guys are thriving. You're not, let's say you make $300,000 a year, right? You're okay. If that is where God called you to be, that is you're operating in your calling in life. You're serving people. You're doing what you are supposed to be doing. And that warrants you a $300,000 a year job, a $50,000 a year job, an $80,000 a year job. There is no shame in that. Okay? But I did want to make sure that we tackled that other perspective, because I don't want any of the men listening to this to get it misconstrued. Because look, if you are not giving your best, if you are not giving your all, you're sinning. Straight up. Like, you're not working unto the Lord, as it would say in the Bible. Do not be lazy. Don't have idle hands. You see what I'm saying? I hope this resonates with you guys. I hope it added some value. I'm glad we got to look at it from both perspectives. If you like content like this, feel free to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Helps the algorithm out, helps you to see when I put new videos out, because we're going to keep them coming. I love getting different perspectives and attacking them from every angle so that we can come to a consensus on what it is that God wants us to get from this. All right. Peace, love. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.